Welcome to English for Fine. Um, what if I told you that you could lose weight while doing absolutely nothing?
Wait, doing nothing, like not going to a gym.
Right. You do not need a gym. You do not even need to be awake. You can actually lose weight just by sleeping.
Wow, that sounds like a magic trick. But the science says it is true.
Yes, it is. Hello, everyone. I am your host, and I love sharing interesting facts and exploring big ideas with you. Today, we have a very special deep dive into the real science of the human body.
And hello, everyone. I am your health expert and, well, your friend. I am thrilled to be here today.
How are you doing today?
I am doing very well, thank you. I spent my time helping people understand how their bodies work. And it is so easy to find bad information online.
Oh, definitely. There is so much bad advice out there.
Right. So my goal is to help you, the listener, find the truth. That way you can live a strong, healthy life.
Well, we have a very big topic today. We are looking at how to lose weight fast.
That is a very popular topic. Everybody wants to know the secret.
Exactly. So we gather a huge stack of sources for this deep dive. We have science journals. We have health articles from places like VinMec and Healthline.
We also have long lists of nutrition data, right?
Yes, lots of data. So our mission today is to go through all of this information. We want to find the best, most effective ways to lose weight fast.
But, we also need to find the safest ways. We do not want anyone hurting their body just to look good. Health must be the top priority.
Exactly. Safety first.
Hmm.
So before we talk about how to lose weight fast, we really need to understand what fast actually means.
Right, because people get confused by that word.
They really do. I see ads online all the time. They promise crazy things like lose 10 pounds in one single week.
Oh, yes. Or drop 3 dress sizes in 5 days.
Yes. It sounds so amazing, but is it real?
Well, those ads are selling magic tricks. They are not selling science. Our sources are very clear about this.
What do the medical articles say?
Places like VinMec and Healthline state that a safe amount of weight to lose is 0.45 to zero point 0.9 kilograms a week.
So in pounds, that is about 1 to 2 pounds a week.
Exactly, 1 to 2 pounds a week. If we look at a whole month, that means losing about 1.6 to 3.6 kilograms.
For some people, that might not sound very fast. They want the weight gone tomorrow.
I know. But the sources explain that this speed is the fastest your body can safely process real fat. Real fat takes time to burn.
Wait, but I have a question. What about that friend who goes on a new diet and loses like 5 kilograms in the very first week?
Ah, yes. That always happens, right? People wonder if the rules are wrong.
Yeah, I read the science journals to understand this exact thing, and it turns out that huge weight drop in the first week is completely normal.
But it is not a miracle, is it?
No, it is not. And it is not fat. The sources explain that the body stores energy from carbohydrates. This stored energy has a special name. It is called glycogen.
Right, glycogen. And where does glycogen live in our bodies?
It lives in our muscles and our liver. And the interesting part is how glycogen acts like a sponge.
Yes, that is the key detail. Glycogen holds a massive amount of water. For every gram of glycogen, there are 3 or 4 grams of water attached to it.
Oh, wow. So it is mostly water.
Exactly. So when you start eating less food, your body needs energy. It reaches into the muscles and uses that stored glycogen.
And when the glycogen is used up, all that attached water has nowhere to go, right?
Right. So the water just leaves the body, you step on the scale, and the number is much lower.
You might lose 3 or 4 kilograms in just a few days, and you feel very happy.
But you are just looking at water weight. You have less water in your system. You've not burned any real body fat yet.
That makes a lot of sense. So after that first week, the water weight is gone, then the weight loss slows down.
Yes, it slows down to that safe speed,
Yeah.
about 0.45 kilograms a week, because now, finally, the body is burning the real fat.
And this brings us to the biggest danger. People love losing 5 kilograms in a week. They want that to happen every week.
So they try extreme methods, like a crash diet.
What exactly is a crash diet?
Well, it is when you stop eating almost completely, or you use a very low-calorie diet. You eat just a tiny bit of food.
I saw the warnings about crash diets in our health articles. The human body does not know you want to look nice for a party.
No, it is not. The
Yeah.
human body is built for survival.
All right, so if you suddenly stop eating, the body thinks there is a famine. It thinks you are trapped in a desert with no food.
That is the perfect way to explain it. The body panics. It enters survival mode, and it fights back against you.
How does it fight back?
The first thing it does is slow down your metabolism.
Can you explain what metabolism is in simple English?
Sure. Your metabolism is like an engine. It is the engine that burns energy. So to save your life during this famine, your body turns the engine down.
Oh, I see. It stops burning calories.
Exactly. It tries to hold on to every single ounce of fat.
Wow. And the sources point out another terrible side effect. Because the body needs fuel for your heart and brain, it looks for other energy.
Right. If you are not eating and the body wants to save fat, what does it attack?
It attacks your own muscles.
Yes. This is why crash diets are so bad. You lose weight on the scale, but you lose healthy, strong muscle.
And muscle is important for burning calories, right?
Very important. If you lose muscle, your engine gets even slower.
And it gets worse. The medical journals highlight a serious risk called gallstones.
Oh, gallstones are terrible.
Yeah. The gallbladder is a small organ. It helps you digest fat. If you eat almost nothing, the gallbladder stops working normally.
And juices inside it turn into hard little stones. Those are gallstones.
Mm-hmm.
And they are incredibly painful.
Nobody wants surgery just because they wanted to lose weight fast.
Definitely not. But there is also a huge problem for your mind. It is called yo-yo dieting.
Yo-yo dieting, like the toy that goes up and down.
Exactly like the toy. Our sources describe it as a cycle. You start a crash diet, you lose weight fast, but it is just water and muscle.
And you feel starved, tired, and unhappy.
Right. And eventually, your willpower breaks. You cannot starve forever. So you stop the diet and eat normally again.
And what happens next?
Well, that is the sad part. Because your engine is now slower and you have less muscle, your body cannot handle normal food.
Oh, no. So it takes all the normal food and stores it as fat.
Yes. You gain all the weight back very fast. Usually you gain back even more weight than when you started.
That is so frustrating. I like to think about the body like a complex machine, like a high-performance car.
Oh, I like that idea. How does the cart work?
Well, if you want to drive a car a long way, you need a steady supply of good fuel. If you press the gas pedal to the floor but put zero fuel in the tank, the car will break down.
Right, the engine will fail.
So a slow, steady speed with good fuel is the only way to finish the journey.
That is a great way to look at it. Safe weight loss is slow and steady. We have to feed the machine.
But this creates a new problem. If we cannot starve ourselves, we still need to eat fewer calories to lose fat, right?
Yes,
Huh.
that is the big challenge. How do we eat less food without feeling terribly hungry?
Which brings us to the science of what we actually put on our plates. Because hunger is the enemy of any diet.
If you are always hungry, you will eventually quit.
Exactly. Our sources provided some amazing research on this. Not all foods are the same when it comes to hunger. We found a study on something called the satiety index.
Ah, the satiety index. This is a very useful tool. Satiety simply means the feeling of being full.
So how did scientists make this index?
They gave people 240 calories of different foods. Then they watched the people to see how long it took for them to feel hungry again.
The results were amazing. They gave some foods a very high score. That means the food kept people full for hours.
And they gave other foods a low score, meaning people were hungry again almost immediately.
So based on the research, what food received the highest score? What makes people the most full?
I think you found this part right. What was the
This-
winner?
Yes, I was very surprised. The absolute winner is the plain boiled potato. It scored 323%.
Wow. So it is more than 3 times better at keeping you full than white bread.
Exactly. But wait, many people are afraid of potatoes. They think carbohydrates are always bad.
That is a common myth. A boiled potato is a perfect food for stopping hunger. On the other end of the list, what food had the lowest score?
The lowest scores went to bakery items. For example, a croissant. It scored only 47%.
This is a perfect comparison. Let us look at the science here. Why do some foods make us full?
The sources say it is because of 3 things: high protein, high fiber, and high water content.
Right, so a boiled potato is full of water and full of fiber. When you eat it, the water and fiber actually take up physical space in your stomach.
Oh, I see. The walls of your stomach stretch out.
Yes. Your stomach has special sensors. They feel this stretching. The sensors send a message to your brain saying, "We are full, stop eating."
And the fiber in the potato digests very slowly, right? It stays in the stomach for a long time.
Exactly. Now compare that to a croissant. A croissant is packed with fat and sugar. It has very little water and almost no fiber.
So you can eat a lot of calories in just a few bites.
Yes, because it is small and soft, it does not stretch the stomach. It digests extremely quickly.
And your stomach is empty again, so your brain says, I am still hungry.
Right. You ate 300 calories of a croissant, and now you want to eat 300 more. But if you ate 300 calories of potatoes, you would be full for hours.
This is why avoiding sugar and junk food is absolutely required for fast weight loss.
Sugar is very tricky. It gives you a huge spike of energy. You feel great for a few minutes.
But then the energy crashes down, doesn't it?
It crashes hard. When the energy crashes, your brain panics. It makes you crave more sugar. It is a terrible cycle.
So the sources give us very clear rules. The first big rule is to eat a lot more protein.
Protein is the most filling nutrient you can eat. Things like lean chicken, fish, eggs, tofu, and beans.
Why is protein so powerful?
When you eat protein, your body releases special hormones. They tell your brain you are full. Also, protein takes more energy to digest. Your body actually burns calories just breaking it down.
I read that starting the day with a high-protein breakfast like eggs is a great idea. People eat hundreds of fewer calories for the rest of the day.
Yes, they naturally do not want to eat as much lunch or dinner. The second major rule is about hydration. We need to drink a lot more water.
This is such a simple idea, but it makes a huge difference. Water has 0 calories. But just like the potato, water fills physical space in your stomach.
And, there's a strange trick the brain plays on us.
What kind of trick?
Well, the part of your brain that controls hunger is called the hypothalamus. This same part also controls thirst.
Oh, I think I know where this is going. Do the signals get mixed up?
Yes. Sometimes you feel a sharp pain in your stomach and you think, I'm starving, I need a snack. But your body is actually just thirsty.
Wow, it just needs water. So what should we do?
The sources suggest that whenever you feel hungry between meals, drink a large glass of water first. Then wait 15 minutes.
And the hunger might just disappear.
Very often it completely disappears. You just saved yourself from eating a snack you did not need.
So if we combine these ideas, the best strategy is clear. We fill our plates with high water, high fiber foods like vegetables and potatoes.
We add a large portion of protein, like fish or chicken. We drink plenty of water, and we avoid sugar and baked goods.
If you do this, you will eat fewer calories automatically. You will not feel starved.
Exactly. So we have solved the problem of what to eat, but the reading material introduced another amazing strategy.
Right. It is not just about what we eat. It is also about when we eat. The timing of our meals can change everything.
This is a very popular area of science right now. The method is called intermittent fasting.
Fasting just means not eating food for a specific amount of time, right?
Yes. And our sources detail a few different ways to do it. The most common one is called time-restricted eating. Some people call it the 16.8 method.
Can you explain the 16.8 method? It sounds like math.
It is simple math. You give yourself an 8-hour window to eat all your meals.
Yeah.
Then you fast for 16 hours.
Let us imagine a normal day using this method. Maybe a person decides their eating window is from 10:00 in the morning until 6:00 in the evening.
Okay, good example. At 10 a.m., they have a healthy breakfast. At 2:00 p.m., they eat lunch. Before 6:00 p.m., they finish their dinner.
And after 6:00 p.m., the kitchen is closed.
Yes, the kitchen is closed.
Right.
They only drink water or plain tea until 10:00 a.m. the next day.
When you look closely at that schedule, it is actually quite easy. For a large part of those 16 hours of fasting, you are asleep in your bed.
Exactly. You do not notice the hunger because you are dreaming. There are other methods too, like the 5.2 diet.
How does the 5.2 diet work?
For 5 days of the week, you eat normally. But for 2 days of the week, you eat a very tiny amount of food, usually around 500 calories.
There is also alternate day fasting. You eat normally one day and fast the next.
But the big question is, do these timing tricks actually work?
The data in the science journals is very strong. People who use intermittent fasting lose about 3% to 8% of their body weight in just 8 to 12 weeks.
That is a very big and healthy amount of weight loss. But we must be honest about the science. Fasting is not magic.
Right. Why do people lose weight on this plan?
Because the short time window forces them to eat fewer calories overall. If you skip a late-night snack, you are naturally removing hundreds of calories from your day.
So if someone just eats a healthy diet all day long, they will lose the same amount of weight as someone who fasts.
Yes, the total weight loss is very similar. However, the sources say that fasting has extra health benefits.
Like what?
Giving your digestive system a long rest is very good for your body. It helps lower blood pressure, it reduces bad cholesterol, it gives your body time to repair its cells.
I noticed a big worry that people have about fasting. When we talked about crash diets earlier, we said starving makes the body burn muscle.
Right, that is true.
So if I am fasting for 16 hours every day, will my body destroy my hard-earned muscles?
That is a very valid concern. The researchers looked closely at this. They compared people on a normal diet with people doing intermittent fasting.
And what did they find?
The results were interesting. Both groups lost the exact same ratio of fat to muscle.
What is the normal ratio?
Usually when you lose weight, about 75% of the weight is fat and 25% of the weight is muscle.
Oh, so that happens whether you eat small meals all day or if you fast.
Yes, but there's a very important rule you must follow to protect your muscles.
The sources say the only way to save the muscle is to use the muscle. You have to exercise.
Exactly. Your body's very smart. If you do not use your muscles, your body thinks, we do not need these. Let us burn them for energy.
But if you lift weights or do push-ups or carry heavy things, you send a loud signal to your brain.
Yes. The signal says, do not burn these muscles. We use them every day.
So the body listens to the signal, protects the muscle, and burns the fat instead. This is a perfect bridge to our next big topic.
Right. Diet and fasting control the fuel going into the car. But now we need to look at how the car uses that fuel. We need to talk about movement.
Movement is the second half of the weight loss equation. You can lose weight with diet alone. But combining diet with movement makes everything faster and healthier.
The articles separate movement into two categories. First, we have formal exercise.
Formal exercise is what most people think of. You put on your sports shoes, you go to a gym, you plan to sweat.
Right. Formal exercise usually involves two things, cardio and strength training.
Cardio is an activity that makes your heart beat fast, right? Like running or swimming.
Yes. Cardio is fantastic for your heart and it burns a lot of calories while you are doing it. But strength training is just as important.
Strength training means lifting weights, right? We just talked about how it protects your muscles.
Yes, but having more muscle actually changes your whole metabolism. Remember the engine?
Yes, the calorie-burning engine.
Well, muscle is active tissue. Fat is lazy tissue. Fat just sits there and stores energy. But muscle requires energy just to exist.
So even when you are sitting on the sofa watching television, a body with more muscle is burning more calories?
Exactly. Building muscle is like upgrading your car's engine. You burn more fuel all the time.
That is amazing. But the sources introduced another concept that completely blew my mind. It is not formal exercise. It is a secret weapon called NEAT. Let us spell that out. N-E-A-T. What does this mean?
NEAT stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis.
Wow, that sounds like a very complicated scientific phrase.
It does sound complicated, but we can break it down easily. Thermogenesis just means creating heat. When your body burns calories, it creates heat.
Okay, so what is the non-exercise part?
NEAT is simply the energy your body burns doing normal daily life activities. It is all the movement you do when you are not exercising.
The examples the sources give are things we do every single day, like walking around the office, standing at a desk instead of sitting in a chair.
Yes. Playing with the dog in the garden, washing the dishes, cleaning the floors, carrying groceries from the car.
None of these things feel like a workout. You are not wearing sports clothes. You are not sweating.
But these small movements add up in a massive way.
The data on NEAT is shocking. The studies show that if a person simply stands up and walks around for an extra 2.5 hours throughout their day, they burn a lot of calories.
Do you remember how many calories?
Yes, an extra 350 calories.
350 calories is a huge amount of energy. It is the same amount you would burn running on a treadmill for 30 or 40 minutes.
But you burned it just by living an active daily life. That is so cool. I read the biological explanation for why some people are naturally thin. It connects directly to NEAT.
Oh, yes. The sources say it is controlled by a specific chemical in the brain. It's called orexin.
What does orexin do?
Orexin is fascinating. It controls your desire to move. Some people naturally produce a lot of orexin.
You probably know people like this. They cannot sit still.
Right. When they sit in a chair, they bounce their leg. When they talk, they move their hands wildly. They pace back and forth. They're constantly fidgeting.
Because their brain is telling them to move, their NEAT is extremely high. They burn hundreds of extra calories every day without ever thinking about it.
They're burning fat just by tapping their foot. On the other hand, some people produce less orexin.
When they sit down, they sit perfectly still. Their bodies naturally want to save energy.
But the good news from the articles is that we do not have to be victims of our biology. Even if you do not naturally fidget, you can make a choice.
We can choose to increase our NEAT. We just have to change our daily habits.
Exactly. We can build NEAT into our day. Instead of taking the elevator, we can take the stairs.
When we drive to the store, we can park our car at the very back of the parking lot. That forces us to walk further.
If we work at a computer, we can set a timer. Every 30 minutes, we stand up and stretch.
I really like how the sources explain the difference between NEAT and formal exercise. The physical action might be exactly the same, but the mindset makes it different.
Can you give an example?
Sure. If I put on running shoes, look at my watch, and power walk to the store to burn calories, that is formal exercise.
Right, you're planning to work out.
But if I wear my regular shoes and just walk to the store because I need to buy apples, that is neat.
And your body loves both of them. Your body does not care what you call it. Movement is movement.
The human body was designed to walk and move all day long.
Yes. But in our modern world, we sit at desks and look at screens. Sitting for long periods is terrible for our health. Some health experts even say that sitting is the new smoking. We have to find ways to keep moving.
Okay, so we have mastered our food and we are moving all day long. Now we must talk about the opposite of moving. We must talk about resting.
Ah, yes.
The best part.
This brings us back to my first question today. How can we lose weight by doing absolutely nothing?
We do it by sleeping. Sleep is the most ignored part of weight loss. People obsess over their diet, they obsess over their exercise.
But they only sleep for 5 or 6 hours a night. They do not realize that lack of sleep is destroying all their hard work.
The sources explain that the connection between sleep and weight loss is all about hormones.
Hormones are the chemical messengers in our body, right?
Yes, they travel through our blood and tell our organs what to do. When we do not get enough sleep, our brain gets stressed. The stress completely changes our hunger hormones.
There are two main hormones that control hunger. The first one is called ghrelin. Ghrelin. Yes. How do you describe ghrelin?
You can think of ghrelin as an angry little monster in your stomach. When your stomach is empty, ghrelin yells at your brain. It says, I am hungry. Find food right now.
That is a perfect description. When a person suffers from sleep deprivation, meaning they sleep less than 7 hours a night, their body produces way too much ghrelin.
So the angry monster becomes very loud. The person feels starving all day long, even if they just ate a meal.
The second hormone is called leptin. Leptin is the gentle, quiet messenger.
What does leptin do?
When you eat food, your fat cells release leptin. Leptin travels to the brain and whispers, we have enough energy. You can stop eating now. We are full.
But the studies show that when you are tired, your body produces much less leptin. The quiet voice disappears.
It is a disaster for weight loss. Your body is screaming that it is hungry, and it has forgotten how to tell you that it is full. You lose all control over your appetite.
The sources give us the exact numbers on this. The researchers measured how much food tired people eat.
What do they find?
They found that people with poor sleep eat between 200 and 500 extra calories every single day.
Wow. 500 calories is huge. That is an entire extra meal. Over a week, that is 3,500 extra calories. That is enough to gain a full pound of fat.
And the worst part is not just how much they eat, but what they eat.
The researchers noted that tired brains do not crave healthy food.
Right. When you sleep poorly, your brain looks for quick, easy energy to keep you awake. You do not wake up exhausted and say, I really want a fresh salad.
No, you do not. You wake up exhausted and your brain says, give me sugar, give me fat, give me carbohydrates. You crave donuts, pizza, and cookies.
There is also another hormone involved called cortisol. Cortisol is the stress hormone.
Yes, lack of sleep causes high cortisol. High cortisol tells your body to take any extra calories and store them directly as fat around your belly.
But the good news is that we can reverse all of this just by resting. There was a brilliant study in the materials we reviewed.
Oh, I remember that one. The researchers found a group of people who normally slept only 6 hours a night.
The researchers did not put them on a diet, right? They did not make them exercise. All they did was ask the people to sleep longer.
Exactly. They gave the people advice on good sleep habits. They told them to sleep in a cool, dark room.
And they told them to stop looking at their bright mobile phones before bed. The bright blue light from screens tricks the brain into thinking it is daytime.
When the people improved their habits and slept for 8 hours a night, the results were incredible.
Without trying to eat less, without any diets, the people naturally ate 270 fewer calories every day.
Their hormones balanced out. The ghrelin monster got quiet. The leptin voice returned. They just stopped feeling hungry.
It proves that getting 7 to 8 hours of good sleep is not a luxury. It is a mandatory requirement if you want to lose weight fast and safely.
Sleep gives your brain the strength to make good choices. If you are well rested, you can walk past the bakery. If you are exhausted, the bakery wins every time.
We have covered so much incredible science today. We know we need protein and fiber. We know we can use fasting to control our eating window.
We know we have to walk more and protect our muscles. We know we must sleep for 8 hours. The science is perfectly clear.
But, knowing the science is easy. Actually doing it every day is incredibly hard.
This is where most people fail. They have all the right information, but they cannot build the habits. They try to change their whole life in one day, and they give up after a week.
Our sources saved the most practical advice for last. They talk about behavioral therapy and how to create habits that last a lifetime.
Motivation is just a feeling, and feelings change. Habits are automatic actions. We need to turn these health rules into automatic habits.
The first psychological tool the sources recommend is setting SMART goals. SMART is a word, but each letter stands for a rule.
Let us break down the SMART method. S stands for specific. A bad goal is saying, I will exercise more. That is too vague.
A specific goal is saying, I will walk outside for 20 minutes.
Yes. M stands for measurable. You need to be able to count it or track it. A bad goal is, I will drink more water.
A measurable goal is, I will drink 4 large bottles of water. You can count the bottles. You know if you succeeded or failed.
Exactly. A stands for achievable. It has to be realistic. If you have not exercised in 10 years, a bad goal is, I will run 10 miles tomorrow. You will fail and feel terrible.
An achievable goal is, I will walk around the block twice.
R stands for relevant. The goal must connect to your personal life and what you care about. You are not walking just to walk.
You are walking so you have the energy to play with your children without getting tired.
And finally, T stands for time-bound. You must give the goal a deadline or a schedule, not, I will walk sometime today.
But I will walk for 20 minutes immediately after I finish dinner.
Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. If you build goals like this, your brain knows exactly what to do.
The next important tool is called self-monitoring. Self-monitoring just means watching yourself honestly.
The studies show that people are terrible at guessing how much they eat. We always think we ate less than we actually did.
The sources say the most successful people write everything down.
They keep a food journal, they write down every meal and every snack. It does not have to be forever. But doing it for a few weeks opens your eyes.
You realize, oh, I am eating 400 calories of snacks while watching television. Writing it down forces you to be honest with yourself.
Another powerful idea from the reading is stimulus control. A stimulus is something in your environment that causes a reaction.
Stimulus control means changing your environment. Make the healthy choice easy and make the bad choice difficult.
Let us look at a real kitchen. If you buy a bag of chocolate cookies and put them on the table, you will stare at them every time you walk by.
You are fighting a war against the cookies using willpower. Eventually, your willpower will break and you will eat the cookies.
But if you never buy the cookies at the store, they are not in your house. If you want a cookie, you have to put on your shoes, find your car keys, drive to the store, and buy them.
You made the bad habit very difficult. Instead, you put a bowl of fresh apples on the table. You are hungry, the apple is right there. You made the good habit very easy.
Changing your environment is much easier than fighting your own brain all day.
The sources also talk about the people in your environment. Social support is crucial. Trying to lose weight completely alone is very difficult.
If your family is eating pizza and cake every night, and you are trying to eat potatoes and chicken, you will feel miserable and isolated.
Having a friend, a partner, or a support group makes a massive difference. You can walk together. You can celebrate your goals together.
When you feel weak, your social support lifts you up. But even with the best goals, the best environment, and the best friends, things will eventually go wrong.
Which brings us to the final psychological tool, relapse prevention.
A relapse is when you fall back into your old bad habits.
Let us imagine a scenario. A person has been doing perfectly for 3 weeks. They are eating well, sleeping well, and walking daily. But then they have a terrible day.
Their boss yells at them at work, their car breaks down, they come home completely stressed out.
They are exhausted, their cortisol is high, and they eat an entire pizza and a bowl of ice cream.
Many people in this situation experience total despair. They think, I ruined everything, my diet is destroyed, all my hard work is gone, I am a failure.
So the next day, they eat terrible food again. They completely give up.
But the sources say this is mathematically wrong. One bad meal does not ruin a diet.
If you eat an extra 2,000 calories of pizza, you might gain a little water weight from the salt, but you cannot gain 5 kilograms of fat from one meal.
Relapse prevention teaches us how to handle these mistakes mentally. First, you must forgive yourself. You are human. Stress eating is a normal human reaction.
Second, analyze what happened without judging yourself. Why did you eat the pizza? Because you were stressed.
So you learn from it. You say, next time I have a terrible day at work, I will not order a pizza. I will call my best friend and talk about it. You make a plan for the future.
And finally, you focus only on the very next decision. You do not need to punish yourself by starving the next day.
You just wake up, drink a glass of water, and eat your healthy protein breakfast. Get right back on the path.
Consistency is the magic word. You do not need to be perfect 100% of the time. If you do the right things 80% of the time and you forgive your mistakes, you will succeed.
Safe, fast weight loss is a journey of consistency. We have covered the biology, the timing, the movement, the rest, and the mind. It all connects into one unified system.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I want to look at the big picture. When you read all these sources together, a fascinating truth emerges about the modern world we live in.
Yes, we are not struggling with weight because we are weak or lazy. It is not a moral failure.
We are struggling because our world is designed perfectly to make humans gain fat. Think about it. Our ancestors walked all day to find food.
Today, we sit in soft chairs in front of glowing computer screens for 8 hours. We do not use our muscles.
We stay up late watching television, which ruins our sleep and destroys our hunger hormones.
And when those hormones make us hungry, we do not have to hunt for food. The cheapest, easiest food around us is ultra-processed junk.
It is packed with sugar and fat. It has no fiber and no water. It gives us a tiny hit of happiness and then leaves us starving for more.
Everything around us is pushing our biology in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
The environment is working against the human body.
Exactly. So deciding to lose weight, deciding to eat real food like potatoes and lean protein, deciding to walk, deciding to turn off the screens and sleep, it is not just a diet.
It is an act of rebellion.
Yes, you are looking at the modern, lazy, sugar-filled world and saying, no, I am taking control of my own biology. You are rebelling against the system to return your body to its strong, natural state.
That is a brilliant way to see it. Taking care of your health is the most powerful thing you can do for yourself.
Yeah.
You are building a machine that will carry you through a long, happy life. Be a rebel.
Be a rebel, take back your power, and get some sleep. My friend, thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive today. Your ability to break down complex biology into easy, clear advice is amazing.
Thank you so much for having me. I loved exploring these sources with you. I hope our listeners feel empowered and ready to make some wonderful, healthy changes. Goodbye.
Goodbye. And to you, our listener, thank you for spending your valuable time with us today. We hope you learned something that will help you on your journey. If you enjoyed our conversation and want to keep learning about fascinating topics in clear, easy language, please follow and subscribe to our channel, English Refine. We will be back soon with another deep dive. Until then, keep moving, rest well, and take care of yourselves.